Good evening, good evening, good evening to all the sports fans out there in the world. This is Level Up Sports 10 here. It's your man Mossberg. Um, it's college football week. It's rivalry week. What else is there to say? When a week as if we have talking Michigan, talking Ohio State, got teams out there, Texas A&M. You got a slew of teams out there this year that's positioned themselves at this time in a right position to make a move. And with that being said, once again, I want to thank everyone that's tuned in and joining us this evening live as we dibble and dabble into what we see. And that has been a great college football season. And, just to get back to a few games that we had last week, Ohio State came out with a win. Texas came out with a win. Penn State came out with a gritty win in Minnesota, and possibilities of some questions being answered on the offensive side of the ball as well, amongst some other things. But we know how Penn State can be defensively, and Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, Freeman, and those Fighting Irish are still continuing to do things and give so many people thoughts and concern of their own team that's trying to get in there. And this Notre Dame team, I think, is something that we definitely have to take a look at and give them their respect and props for just continuing to win week in, week out. And, at this point, we could look at a lot of losses that teams have taken throughout the season. And yes, we always go to Notre Dame and that loss that they took. But guess what? They're ranked where they are at number 5 in this here top 25. And we'll see when this playoff come out here in the next half hour, 45 minutes or so, where things will shape up to be. And it'll just be so crazy. And I see LB is in there. That's Isaiah. Mr. Brooks, good to see you in there. And that is the Zen Master speaking. And let me go ahead and get to what he said. And they took so much slander from us. I totally see where you are coming from, Mr. Brooks. And once again, that is the FanDuel, the Zen Master, chiming in and watching us this evening on YouTube. And that next team we have coming up is the Georgia Bulldogs. They were able to get a win. And I think at this point, we got to look at Georgia and know that they are a team to reckon with. Because when you think of the Bulldogs, a bulldog, you put a bulldog in a fight, which is this playoff. And I mean, a bulldog speaks for itself. We know what they do when it comes to those type of things. And I don't want to go into that. But as saying, those Bulldogs are definitely going to be a task, I feel, in this here playoff. And we will see what these rankings bring to us, as I said, here in the next half hour, 45 minutes or whatnot. I am definitely anticipating to see what those rankings will be. Now, we have those Tennessee Volunteers. And I made a little thing on my page, a little video about the top 10 weeks ago. And I don't think they're volunteering. I think they really want to get in and cause some havoc in this year playoff. And we'll see where those Volunteers are ranked as well. I think that's a scary team. And I haven't said that about Tennessee, because I think when you don't know what you're going to get out of a team and you have certain matchups, that's when we see the best. And I think the best is yet to come with this Tennessee team. So can't wait to see what they'll be bringing to the table for us in this here college football playoff. And my nephew is chiming in. How's it going, nephew? Good to see you in here. Appreciate you chiming in and joining us and watching us. And also, I've seen those Ravens get a win. And I'm going to get back to that a little more if I can. Jump onto the NFL side one time for the nephew. Good win on them Ravens. tough win, and they fooled me. I picked the Chargers, but the Ravens came out on top, and I think right now that keeps your boy Lamar Henry up there in that talk about the high MVP trophy. So the next team that we have up that we're going to talk about is the Miami Hurricanes. Miami Hurricanes. And all these teams that I'm speaking on were able to actually come out, with the exception so far of Penn State, with knockout punches, devastating blows in the games on their way to victory. Some thought Texas was struggling early, but as we know, that Arkansas team can put up a fight, and Texas just stood tall, firm, let the defense move, and got that win as well. So when we talk about this Miami team, the Miami Hurricanes, the U, a lot of swagger, the gold chains, all those good things. And, you got Michael Irvin on the sideline. You got Cam Moore, you got that receiver, the great receiver, and sorry about that, KT, if I messed up for you on that one. Your boy, he's the beast. He's going to be a beast. And this Miami team is, I feel, another one of those teams that if you put them in a situation as if Tennessee against a team in a playoff, and you wonder what you're going to get out of them, I think they going to give teams trouble because of the matchup. And when you look at the defensive side, we talk about their struggles, and WTP Sports Dudes, appreciate you joining us and chiming in. He said Miami could be great and give teams trouble in the playoffs if they had D. And speaking on the defense, I think when we look at certain matchups that we do have, and Miami being one of those teams that we talk about, the secondary, we look at that. And if their defense can come out and get any kind of momentum in a playoff game with that secondary, I think that gives their defense even more momentum, throughout that game. And if they win that game moving forward. So my thing and my thought on Miami is to find that gold chain defense, that turnover defense that brought that gold chain out. I think if you find that this last game coming, moving forward, being ranked in this playoff and where you position yourself, I think things can happen, because Miami was a team earlier in the season after the playoff picture came out. We had advancing in ways, and these last couple of weeks, we've had our thoughts about them, based on that defense. So if they can get that defense in that chain mode, I think Miami definitely has some great things ahead. Now, this next team I'm going to talk about, welcome to the ACC. And that team is the SMU Mustangs. And the Zen Master says turnovers is the great equalizers. Spot on. And I agree with you on that. And I'm a big fan of defense, man. You turn the ball over and things can happen. Points off turnovers, that's key, because that's just a momentum. And that gives your defense even more momentum, even more energy coming out. So, that's just my thought when it comes to that. And I agree with you on that. It's too late for the D, but just hoping that they can show up. If they can show up, I feel that they could show out in ways and get back to themselves, which had them ranked in that top 1, 2, 3 position earlier in the season, top 5, I would say. And they're right, just a few spots away from that. But we know what that defense has been like, and we just want the best for that defense, so we can see that swagger in Miami, which we know they have as well. The next team that I'm going to talk about, as I was getting to, were those SMU Mustangs. Interesting team. And FanDuel Zen Master, I want you to comment to me. Tell me a little about these SMU Mustangs, because I was looking at some things, and right now they sit atop of the ACC. 7-0 with a 10-1 record. Next, you have Clemson, 7-1 with a 9-2 record. Then you have the U, that gold chain defense, 6-1 with a 10-1 records. What record? And you're right, Kevin Jennings, Rashad Smith. Man, boy, I tell you, it's just good watching players and seeing that some may not know who they are until they get on the main stage. They're in the top 25. You get to see them every week, things like that. And this SMU team is, reminded me, nothing against the Buckeyes and the Big Ten. They've come into the ACC this year and caused some wreck. And when I say some wreck, they're at the top, as well as just how Oregon's sitting right now. But, we'll get into more of that discussion when it comes to that Big Ten, Oregon, and all that nonsense. I'm not going to say, nonsense, because it's not nonsense. I'm going to just say chaos for right now. But SMU is definitely, I think, giving a lot of people a different way to look at teams when, quite frankly, you have no idea who they are. You have to get on your Google. You have to check and see which, players they've had made it big. And, we talk about this SMU team about not being, a true believer in what they bring to the table, but I'm an ACC guy. I think this is one of the most dangerous teams. And I know week by week, we say a lot. I know, Georgia looked a certain way one week, Georgia looked a certain way the next week, as every team throughout the season have looked. But this SMU team, the reason I say that they're dangerous, because I think they can match up with just about any team we have in this playoffs. And when I say match up, I think across the board, you're talking big offensive linemen, big defensive linemen, skilled cornerbacks, skilled receivers, skilled positions. They have it, and you just don't know what you're going to get. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and say this SMU team is a contender, and we'll get back to that word contender along with pretender, toss-up, and championship contender. The next team we have up, I'm going to just say you let me down this past Saturday. I picked you after I went against you to start with, and you just came in to the shoe, and they was playing horseshoes with you. These are Indiana Hoosiers I'm talking about. No offense to you guys. It's fun and games, man, but the Indiana Hoosiers, still to me a team that's similar to Penn State. And as I'm continuing to talk, and in between that, I want to welcome in the Zen Master, the FanDuel that is king of all kings that is of his throne. Isaiah, what's going on, man? What's good? What's good this evening? Good to see you in here. How have you? How's it going?
I'm good. How you doing, big homie? I just got the link, man.
Pretty good. My bad on the late notice with the link and everything. I know WTP Sports Dudes. Shout out to him for just keeping us all together in this and keeping the stream going in the way he does things, and even being on the road and just shooting things through, watching us live, and just giving us that full access to do what we do. And as I continue throughout the time that we'll be doing this week in, week out, man, we appreciate you, WTP Sports Dudes, man. So giving you your flowers as we gonna continue to week in, week out, man. Without you, none of this would be possible. And we was just talking about SMU and where we at, and then we just got past SMU, got to Indiana, and WTP Sports Dudes, he feel that Indiana is not ready yet. And after this weekend, no doubt, always love in the building, man, always love. What's your thoughts? I know your Bucks, man. We was chopping it up through the text and we was talking, man. Give me your thoughts on this Indiana team, because your Bucks just obliterated them. But give me your thoughts, because me and you felt a certain way, but after this weekend, I think Ohio State brought them down to their level, and I'm seeing that with a few teams in these last few weeks that they're all faced. Give me your thoughts on Indiana. What you think?
So I ain't gonna lie. I watched the game 2 more times after Saturday at noon. I watched it one more time at nighttime, and then turned around on yesterday, and watched it the whole 50 minute where it's no commercials, no nothing. And really, I just think they was overwhelmed, bro, with a top 5 matchup. Like none of them guys probably ever been in that. They got a lot of transfers that came from lower schools. They ain't probably never played in front of 100,000 before. I don't really think it was indicative of what team they are for real.
Yeah.
I know we handled them, but one thing I could say is I thought their defense played well. Now, when you get in these big games, you can't shoot yourself in the foot with fumble. They fumbled like twice in the game.
Right.
They lost a fumble on punt on the punt team that set us up in good position. Even at that though, in the first half, we was 2 for 4 in the red zone.
Yeah.
That's actually winning football. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I just felt like the moment was a little too big for them, and I think that come when you bringing a program up and they've never been there. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
to get that under their belt, I think if the committee do let them in, I think they'd be much more prepared to handle that type of environment.
I agree.
So
I agree.
I definitely think that's a good football team, though, bro. Like they proved to me that they're a good football team, and really that running back, he was kind of getting off, and I thought they went away from me. And then that number 8 on defense, that big boy that they had,
Yeah.
he was doing damage, dog. He was doing
Definitely.
damage. So I like pretty much the pieces that they got in the makeup. They just got to get that experience of being into them big time games like that, because that's all we do at Ohio State. We playing them big time games, so the moment wasn't too much for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And WTP Sports dude said that second and third watch be it, because you able to analyze a lot of different things. Once you sit down and watch a game a few times, and I catch myself doing that, just repeatedly looking over games even from a few years ago and seeing how some teams still do similar teams, how some teams may have taken something from another team and put it in their playbook. And that just goes to show that, watching that film and studying that, it definitely helps and is a great thing also. The next team we have coming up, I think for me is a team I honestly want to see this team in the playoff. And the reason I want to see this team in the playoff, I watched the running back story of his dad being in the military, and just the team. When we think about this playoff, I'm speaking on those Boise State Broncos. When we thinking of this here playoff and we talk about it, the thing that sits in the back of my mind, if anyone can remember Ian Johnson, Boise State running back, I don't know if they remember the chaos that they caused. This wasn't even in a playoff. We had bowl games at this time. They took down the Oklahoma Sooners. And this running back, Ian Johnson, he was in the candidate race for Heisman. I believe he may have finished second or third that year. I can't correctly remember. And they upset Oklahoma. WTP Sports dudes, I know he remembered just as I do. This was a banger. And when I say this Boise State team reminds me of that exact team. And I think when you talk about that Boise State team and I'm comparing them to that team, and we speaking on Genty, the talent they have there with the defense. And the only loss was to an Oregon Ducks team who we've seen hold the number one spot here for a few weeks. And I think it's been about a month almost. And WTP Sports Dudes, we appreciate you chiming. Definitely have a safe flight home. I just checked on my phone and seen the text messages and everything. And he said if they face a team with a suspect run D, they will give them fits. And I totally agree because Genty, he's on the pace for what we will see a record performance, record breaking. I mean, just so many more things to name when it comes to his running back season. And I think when he enters the NFL, they'll change that aspect on the money that goes to the running back. And if you watch some of our shows, we dibble and dabble into so many things, and the running back being one of those, and that position and that pay grade that's went down. But we see that it's going to be on the rise with the performance of some of these running backs, as well as some of these college backs that's coming, and the performances that we can see that they'll be putting on. But scary is what I'm going to say about this Boise State team. Very scary. So be careful of what you do when it comes to preparing for or knowing what you're going up against. They're giving it all. What's your thoughts on this Boise State team, Zen Master? Give it to me.
Hey, I think that Boise State team is a scary out, period, because they're going to always come in as the underdog, regardless, because of all these big name programs. So
I agree.
When you playing as the underdog, man, you give it everything. You already feel like you got nothing to lose.
Right.
So you're gonna play your tail off, bro. And you know, going into a lot of them big matchups, some schools might just be like, oh yeah, we got this thing. You know what I mean? Their highest rated player over there might be a 3-star dude or 4-star dude. And they only got a handful of them though, so they might just underestimate them. It's like they ain't got nothing for it. So I think that always plays an aspect when you looking at these underdog schools.
Definitely. And WTP Sports Dudes chimed in for us. And again, man, appreciate all the thoughts and talk that you're giving us, you know, because what I say by thoughts is you're giving us different things to think about and react to, as well as the comments that's coming in. He said that Saquon is bringing a value back, man. If you chime in once again, Sunday NFL talk, it'd be glorious. And Saquon, we've been talking about you, and I think that's 255 off 26 carries. And as WTP Sports Dudes call them, tutties, he had 2 of them. You definitely changing the value of that running back, and we appreciate you because we never understood why the value went down. We did, but you know, it's good to see it back on the rise. Now,
Man, dog, that spin move he had was stupid.
I still haven't seen a move
that spin
like
hurt,
that,
or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that made me think about the Barry Sanders, sorry, Parlay Poe, on a Rob Woodson, the Barry Sanders against the Chicago Bears. It just made me think of Barry Sanders when Saquon put on that move and to be mentioned in a name of Barry Sanders. Whew, boy, Saquon, you doing big things. And as we get back to this college football, man, it's just the next team up is Clemson. And we just talked about SMU, and now we talk about Clemson. What is your thoughts on Clemson? This is a team for me. I want your perspective because I really, you know, being an ACC guy, I didn't really have much of a perspective. I just thought where they at is one of those things to where, hey, we here. Nobody figured we would be here.
Right.
Now, guess what? Y'all going to have to deal with it. We don't got no transfers. We ain't hit the portal. And I think the one thing I've been waiting to say with them is they made it. No portal. They made it. They breeding something. So I understand and now see what Dabo's doing, but, you know, that's just my thoughts. You talk to me about this Clemson team. I know you're going to give me the spiel.
So they always got talent and athletes everywhere. It's just like when you go to a Miami or Florida,
Right.
and Dabo got his way of doing things, and a lot of people don't like it. I'm one of the people that don't like the way Dabo do things either, though. Um, but they pretty much handled what was in front of them, and really, they wouldn't be right here if we didn't have this crazy Saturday that just happened. Because we got to understand, Bama lost, Ole Miss lost.
Yeah.
Now we setting up the Texas A&M game, so we got to think that loser's gone. So that's three teams that just got eliminated, and we looking at a SEC conference that's only going to get three teams more than likely now, and that's why we talking about SMU and Miami. So I mean, they play their own cards how they was dealt it, and do I think pound for pound they will beat one of them SEC teams on a neutral site? No, I don't. But at the end of the day, we got to hold people accountable for losing games that they should not lose.
Yeah.
So, to me, I still don't know if they in yet because I think the winner of that game in the South Carolina, them in South Carolina the last week, next week, I think the winner will be in. So that's a tough matchup, man. I don't know who gonna win that game because the last time we seen Clemson up against the SEC team, they got ran off the field.
Gotcha. I agree. And WTP Sports Dudes, he said Clemson is wishy-washy. And just me being an ACC guy, you know, I've known Clemson to see how they've done when they've come into the ACC and how they've been over the years. Definitely a great team, great university in what they do. I think if Dabo send those out to get those players, I know Dabo have no problem getting them there. Dabo is Dabo. Anybody will go play for Sweeney. They know what he bring. You know, that's depth. Everything that comes along with it. You know, so I think coming this year, it'll be the first time that he actually did into it, and I think he'll love it and enjoy it, and he'll have more coming into that Clemson program, and it'll just be another movement in that ACC, another powerhouse, and you never know what could come. That's just my thoughts on that. So with that being said, we at Clemson. We've got a few more teams left, but I know the show comes on, I believe, at 7 o'clock tonight. So a quick rundown of your thoughts on the fact that Alabama and Ole Miss lost. WTP Sports Dudes had texted me. It was 6:19 because I had just looked back at the text a few minutes ago and then just did again because I was about to say something. He said that Ole Miss and Alabama created a whole mess after this weekend. And as we see, I'm sitting here looking at the rankings, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame at number 5. Then you got Georgia, Tennessee, Miami, SMU, Indiana, Boise State, Clemson, Alabama 13, Arizona State 14, Ole Miss 15. Is there any teams that you think you would see out, or any teams that you think you would still see in?
We still got that last. Well, today, let me just base it off of what I think I'm gonna see in the show today. I think Arizona State will be your top Big 12 teams. I think they'll have them currently residing in the playoffs. I think was you said Miami is in there. Yeah, I think
Yep. Miami is at 8.
Yeah, I think they'll have Miami and SMU in the picture of being in the playoffs as now. But I think whichever one lose in the championship game, it's over for that other team. Whoever loses that game, it's over for you. You're out. I still think it's a way to get 4 SEC teams. Like I said, I think if South Carolina can win, against Clemson. I think they'll push them up because they want to see 4 SEC teams, honestly. And really, sometimes it's about how well your team been playing of late. We seen it with my Buckeyes in 2014 when we won the national championship. South Carolina's been playing well for like the last 5 weeks, literally. So,
Right.
um, Big Ten still, I think Indiana won't drop too far. I think just because of what happened with the SEC. If everybody would have took care of business, I thought that Indiana would get pushed out, but I don't see them dropping no lower than 9. Um, and I'm real curious about where they are going to place Notre Dame because I think it's an argument to be had between Notre Dame and Texas now.
Right. Right.
So, just because I mean we know Notre Dame ain't got the toughest schedule, but their pure dominance, it looked it impressive. You know what I'm saying? With how they played on Saturday, it just looked it impressive. So, I want to see if they flip flop them or how they do it because Texas didn't look as impressive as I thought they would or they could in that game. So that's just my opinion on it. Ole Miss, man, Ole Miss ain't got no chance, bro. You can't. I watched that game. I'm watching the last series, and yeah, you only get counted for 1 interception, but dude threw 3
Yeah.
interceptions. He threw
Yeah.
3 interceptions back to back, bro. That's unacceptable, bro. So we can't look at them and he's an NFL prospect that's I think is a top 3 round quarterback. So that just can't happen, dog.
Got you. So when just thinking about what you said, Arizona State is a team that definitely, I think, after the way they played, Scatterbo, couple of them tutties, we talked about that $1.50 WTP Sports dude. So we see you another $1.50
Rob
this
definitely called
weekend
that.
for Arizona State and Scatterbo in that desert. They going to Arizona this weekend. So I think Scatterbo keep the ball rolling for a couple more of them tutties. But I think, with the Alabama and Ole Miss loss is just causing a lot of havoc. And you look at that Big 12, you got Arizona State 9-2, you got BYU 9-2, Iowa State 9-2, and those Buffs at 8-3. But everybody is 6-2 in the conference, and some of those teams didn't lose to each other, which is the crazy part about that. So I think this weekend in the Big 12, I think last weekend teams could have put themselves in position. But I think with those teams losing as Colorado and BYU, I think it put Arizona State in position now this week to just win, and gave BYU another chance. Iowa State still have a chance. And yet alone, Colorado still has a chance. So there's opportunities as we see within these conferences, not to mention Tulane and Army over there sitting at 18-25 and still having the possibilities with these championship games out there. So,
Right.
With that being said, it's just a lot that's going on in the midst of things. And I see that it's not on till 7:15. So this next team we got on the slate to talk about, man. You know where I'm going. I'm going down south. I'm going to Tuscaloosa, and I don't know if they rolling, if they moving, if they grooving, but I'm gonna just go ahead and say these Bama boys in that Roll Tide. They coming in at 13 in the top 25, and I think we trying to see this week what's going on. A lot of teams got to win, and they got to hope for something to happen in order to get in. So I think that's the one thing that me personally I'm looking for, what teams do get in and what teams are not in, because those teams that's not in the playoff, I think Ole Miss, Alabama, we don't know what they're going to do with a team like a Clemson, Boise State. We just don't know what the playoff is going to do. And the teams that are not in, that's right there, that has a chance. I think those are the teams that's more scary because I think they're looking to whether it's take somebody out of their hopes of getting in and putting themselves in position or just totally knocking somebody out of the playoff from getting in. So, those are some of the things we got to look at as well. But Bama definitely is a team that I'm starting to see some of the same things of Milroe, and it's not giving Bama that edge that they need. We think of his legs and how he could move and how he could be great, but then again, we don't see that performance all the time. Maybe overthrowing the ball, not taking off when he should, or just making a bad throw. This Bama team, I think if they get in, they're scared, which as we see with a lot of teams, Miami, Tennessee, Boise State. I think if teams at this point, if they get into the playoffs and they have a shot at just having a win, play defense, I think they leaving it all out on the field. What's your thoughts on Alabama?
They're out. Hey, listen, you cannot make the playoffs, bro, and lose to a 500 team, close to 500 team, and you lost scoring 3 points. It's no way in my now you and out of all the teams in the top 15, I would say maybe top 20. You not only have one loss against a 500 team or 6-5, whatever it is, maybe one game over 500. You got 2.
Agreed.
So y'all booted your own self out. You controlled your own destiny. All you had to do was take care of business. And It's really not the fact that you lost. It's really the way you lost too. And we know them Oklahoma Sooners got some dogs on that defense. But at some point, you gotta hold guys accountable. You don't lose games in November to teams that you ain't supposed to lose to. It's not supposed to go like that in November. You should you should already know who your team is. You should be well coached. You should be prepared, and you should go in and take care of business when business calls. And that's just my. And Bama, you just not. They not cutting it for me. Like I said though, a couple of weeks ago, this ain't Nick Saban Bama no more, man. This ain't the same Bama we've been used to and accustomed to, dog. They done came in less prepared in games that we know Saban would have his guys up. So.
Oh yeah,
they get the boot for me, man. They get the boot for me automatically. And just to touch on what WTP Sports Dude said, yeah, I misspoke earlier. Yeah, Texas is in, win or lose, and it's only because of what happened on Saturday. Because it was going to be some comparing schedules if everybody would have took care of their business, but everybody didn't take care of their business. So now you got to have Texas, and I still think Texas is one of the top 3 or 4 teams. But when I was looking at resumes, I was like, hey, you got to compare resumes. That's what the committee always say, right?
Right. The resumes matter. That's definitely, and I think just coming down to as we get in near the show, I think is, that thing that's going to separate these last few weeks. You got to have key wins. At this point in the season, if you took a loss early, what has your resume been since then? Have you struggled, after a couple wins and got tested, or were you consistent? Did you stay consistent, had some struggles? What did you do after? So a lot of those things, go into play. And some of the teams I like seeing after a loss, what's the bounce back like? Right. That's a big thing, especially in games where you've got, whether it's upset, different travel, all of those things go into play. And I think that's something the committee takes their time with as well. So, man, where we at in this season, man, it's just great. And, we spoke about this Arizona State team at number 14, how we felt about them being in, and Ole Miss even, I think that's a team that I felt a certain way about them all season. They look in one way, then they a different way, kind of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing with them as WTP Sports Dudes will speak on, man. So it's, for me, man, what is this show gonna bring? What are we gonna see when it comes to, the teams that's not in? Are those teams that we feel gonna fight? I believe so. I believe there's gonna be a lot of teams that fight this last 2 weeks, because if you're not playing this week, you're possibly playing the following week. So, and those games matter. But in all due to this show, man, I think we got some great looks coming with this playoff picture, and they say it goes off at 7:15. So I'm trying to figure out that right way to give us that ending to what we're doing. But before we do get out of here, man, it's a big week. I'm surprised I don't see you with your special cap on, but it's more of a relaxation because I know you on your break, and you winding down from the kids running around, doing this, doing that, man. I know it feel good, but this rivalry week, man, your Buckeyes got these Wolverines, man.
Hey, boss, let me tell you what I've been doing today, dog. First of all, I've been doing a lot of winter cleaning. And you do the summer cleaning, the spring cleaning, the fall cleaning. I've been thorough cleaning, bro. But after, in between, when I take my break and after I got done, I've been rewatching the Michigan games, bro, from the last 3 years. Yeah. So I've been taking them to the lab and looking at how Jim Rose been trying to attack the game and why we ain't come out victorious. Man, in 21, it was snowing. Michigan Stadium was rocking, but their running back was running all over us. I'm just like, dang, man, can somebody stop this guy?
Yeah.
So I just really been watching the last 3 Michigan games for real. So I was just in the zone. Come Thursday though, it's Ohio State gear all the way through Saturday, dog. All the way through Sunday. Hey,
I respect it, man.
Too, though, you know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah.
We definitely in the zone though, man. We more in the zone than it's coming off.
Oh yeah, I respect it, man, because I know you're busy, definitely with the kids out getting a lot of things done. And with you saying that, I had thought of a few players, of course, and that's one thing I'm looking at. Some of the players that's played in this rivalry over the few years, that's one on the side of Michigan, that's played also on the side of Ohio State. I'm actually watching to see how those players in particular play in this game. I know how Downs is, how great of a player he is. Yeah. This is different than Alabama, LSU. This is different than, the games that you play in the SEC. This is Big Ten rivalry. This is Michigan, Ohio State. This is the bread and butter. This is the gold pants. This is what you wake up. This is why you come to the Ohio State University. Now, for those like him, like Howard, what's one thing, even as a fan, as a fan of Ohio State, but if you could put yourself in the shoes to ask to say something to Howard or Downs in preparation for this big game on Saturday, what's your thoughts and what would you say to them in preparation for this big game Saturday?
So I watched Ryan Day's press conference earlier, his pregame press conference with Channel 10 TV. I think he kind of hit on it the best. If you don't know, you don't know. Right. But if you don't know, then your job is to lean on them guys that have been here.
That's crazy.
You gotta lean on the guys that been here before, man, because we got what is called a war room at Ohio State. And what happens is the upperclassmen guys, they sit in the front of the war room. As you keep going down in grade level, the farther and further back you get to the war room. So them guys in the front of the war room, they've been there.
But your stars have to be stars.
I'm not worried about Will Howard. I think he has the competitive edge that we've been missing at quarterback. So I know he's going to show up and he's going to leave it on the line.
Right.
Even a guy like Caleb Downs, he just got the star power. He was born to play football. so I'm not really worried about him. Now it could be other guys in there that I'm missing. Like maybe Serafeld, my left guard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he played much in this game, but he's been in the atmosphere. So I think my team is so experienced that I'm really not worried about the guys showing up and leaving it all out on the field. Now it's time to just take what you've been studied and take all your work, blood, sweat, and tears that you've been putting up, because everything since last year has been leading up to this game. And that's what Coach Day has stressed to the team. And I think when we come and we show up Saturday, I think we're going to try to beat the blood out of them because we owe them.
Well, I agree. And as we see in that background, we got my main man, City League TV. He popping in. He right on time.
Y'all know what time it is. I had to give y'all a head start. I got too much energy, so I had to let y'all get something out. Y'all know what time it is. What up, Zay? What up, Moss B?
What's good,
What's going on, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
WPP Sports dudes say, man of many hats. Good to see you. Got your silver bullets on your sleeve or your head. It looks like you ready to go to work. And you're the only one that I know. I could say you got your hard hat on. Because that's what it looked like. You got your hard hat on. You ready
time for war, baby.
Talk to me a little
time
bit.
For war.
We get to see, and we're going to talk a little bit more live as we got these playoff rankings coming out. Talk to me about this week and how do you feel coming in? I talked to Zay and I told him, the thing I'm looking at is players that previously played in these past few years. And this game, I think, is bigger than these last few years myself personally. What's your thoughts on this here game coming this weekend, knowing everything, that comes along with the game? Outside of that, what would you say to Will Howard and Downs being in this type of game, this rivalry, the first time, and what kind of knowledge would you give to them or what would you ask them, just to start with that one?
Let me tell you the beauty about this rivalry. They already get it. They already know. They've been at other universities. They already know that the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. They experienced nothing like that at Kansas State, and they experienced nothing like that in Alabama. The Alabama-Auburn rivalry is not even close to Ohio State-Michigan. Georgia Tech, not even close. Texas A&M, not even close. I mean, it's not even close. You have to go to the NFL or the NBA to just get close to that rivalry. But even in the NBA, like you the past few years, you've had many games where who cares if Boston and the Lakers are playing?
Yeah,
we care when Ohio State and Michigan is playing. And we really care this year, just as much as we've been caring the past 2 years because we keep coming off of these L's. So I love the way that Will Howard understands the assignment, and he understands it. If you caught his post-game press conference, he understands completely what this Ohio State-Michigan rivalry is all about, and Caleb Downs as well. So it's a beautiful thing to not have to explain anything to them talented young players.
Facts.
I agree with you on that one. And just being a Florida State fan, knowing how the rivalry thing is, we play Florida, but like you said, this Ohio State Michigan, you think of so many years of a rivalry. You think of the fan base itself, but for me coming into this year, this is a game I've actually been waiting on more than a little bit because of the fact that not only Michigan has won the past few years, but knowing that Ohio State revamped, reloaded, and when I say that's the first thing every Ohio State fan is talking about is that Michigan game. I've never seen it as much as I have this year from the start of the season into now. And I told myself this week, it's Thanksgiving week as well, Turkey week. I'm gonna go on down on that campus just to see if I get a little rumble going in a field down there, because I did feel it when I drove through there. But
Hey, you didn't
I
see
just
how that
love it.
stadium was rocking against Indiana? Our stadium rocked for the first time
Listen,
in a long time last Saturday.
It looked like the jump around stadium, a la Wisconsin, in the shoe here in Columbus, Ohio. And I say this, man, y'all hitting on all cylinders. After Downs got the spin and take to the house, I ain't gonna lie. I took me a nap and was listening, and I said the Bucks is real. I said Michigan, they got to be ready, because this game, I feel like if Michigan is not ready, sorry, Pole, Ohio State might put up 50 on y'all. And I'm not talking to nobody else, but everybody in the world gonna hear this. Ohio State,
They're gonna be ready.
If they not ready, man.
They're gonna be ready. You have no choice but to be ready for this game.
Oh yeah, and what I mean by that, I think with you, I know we was talking in the text, and I don't know. It's just like you said, it's just a different feel for me seeing both teams at this point, and I think it's one of them games to where one got to be careful. But me saying this to Michigan more so than Ohio State, because I think Ohio State being at home, that helps definitely. But Michigan, we don't know how they gonna play in this because of the way they season. Even though it's a rivalry, that's the thing that I'm mostly looking for. Is they gonna keep it that way with it being a rivalry?
I know how they're gonna play, because this is the best rivalry of all time, because of one reason and one reason. Records do not matter once you get to this game. They are looking to try to ruin our season. They are looking to do that. If they can ruin our season, their season was successful. So
they ruined it last year. They're looking to do it again. Actually, they've ruined it for the past 2 years. They have ruined our season for the past 3 years. They have ruined our season.
Absolutely.
So do you think? I was thinking about the ground. I was thinking about the running game, how heavy Michigan run the ball. That was one thing I was looking at as far as in could be a game changer. You know, what's your thoughts on the running backs, you know, on both sides of the ball? Do you think that's something that you both was looking at as well? What's your thoughts on that, City League?
You talking about the team up north's running game?
Yeah, you could approach them or call them whatever you. I know how it is this week. You might want to say that
this
team.
week I can't talk to him. I can't talk to him like that this week.
No problem at all.
You know, I can't talk to him like that this week. But I mean, we know we're gonna have to that fire that Jim knows, that bag that Jim knows got in last week that we have never seen since he's been there. We've never seen him in his bag, and he got in that bag. Yeah, and that's what I've been waiting on. I've been waiting on him to pull some of them things out that bag that he has not shown. So I love our defense against the run. I love that that's one of Michigan's strengths. So let's knuckle up and let's get after it. We're going to do the same thing on our end, except for I want to throw that ball a little bit more, because I know they secondary can't mess with our wide receivers. I would like to do what Urban Myers would do if he was coming out in this game, and he gonna air it out. He gonna air it out. He gonna run the ball, but he gonna air it out and see if y'all can stop these receivers. Yeah. You look at them team up north in Ohio State games with Urban Myers. He threw that ball. Because, you know, for the past several years, we have hands down had the best wide receivers in all of college football. And I understand that we're always going to have some stud running backs, and we're going to need to run the ball. But stop this pass. Stop this touchdown. Stop this 6 I'm about to give you real quick.
And let me not get this twisted, and let me give my man the respect and his rightful Jews in here. You're not only hearing from someone that's talking these silver bullets. You hearing from someone, not only alumni. He walked the streets, he walked the halls, he watched it grow at
Yeah,
the Ohio State. So
that's
when
right.
you see this, man, you just got to respect it, understand he's talking from the heart, from the toes,
Not
and
just the
walking through
fame.
that concrete, man. He's OSU from head to toe, and this is what he do. I appreciate you coming in, nephew. I see you over there on the back end talking about them Colorado Buffaloes, and as we was talking about them, not to get off the Buckeyes, we was talking
They
about
killed
that
the
Big
Saturday,
12.
man. They killed the
Yeah,
Saturday.
we was speaking on that Big 12 and the chances that some teams had. Hopes is out there this week moving forward, but for some teams in that Big 12, they took a hope, got a win, and got many opportunities after that chance of putting it all on the line last week. So, when we talk about the Buffs, myself, and City League TV, we was definitely with them winning that Big 12. But having a little buffer that they had at Kansas, which we talked about also, that could possibly happen. We see that the fate is dwindling, but you never know what could happen in this last week or two as well. So we
Anything
just got the best hopes for Colorado. We want to see them in. That's all we've been talking. But we definitely know
Sure.
that boy, he is 12. Yeah, Trav, he gonna get him one, and he might get him two. But
Hey, let's talk about how he got robbed for that Jim Thorpe Award, though. The finalists came out and he ain't on it.
Just ridiculous. But see, look,
He
Zay.
got robbed, bro.
man,
Look, Zay. That just goes to show, like, listen here. If the Vegas gods haven't planned for you to lose as Colorado did last week, I mean, because that's a completely different game. Like on Colorado's first series, where Travis Hunter, who was playing wide receiver at the time, who also plays cornerback, got held while he's doing his post route and gets no call. I mean, that's a huge. We're talking the first possession.
big
So
change in the game.
instead of Colorado going down on their first possession and getting 7 and having that, having that fire, having that motivation, having that momentum, you know what I mean? In the beginning of the game and throughout the game, they don't get it. And then time after time, no pass interference calls, no holding calls on Kansas offensive line, no blocking in the backs from Kansas offensive line, just no nothing. And when the refs swallow their whistles against a team, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah,
Man,
T1, I agree with you, man. But did you see Ben Christian get held in our game last Saturday?
They
That was the
wanted to
most
try to keep that
egregious
game close, bro.
defensive pass interference call that was not called that I've ever seen. The DB tackled him, but we already know the refs been terrible all year. So I'm not one to blame the refs. I say make another play. Just make
It's
another
just
play.
that they just doing their job.
Yeah, they've been terrible.
They just doing their job because we see the same thing they looking at, and they wanted that Indiana game to be close, and they tried everything that they could because our defensive ends were getting held really bad as well. So it's when they had a call, just like with this Ohio State Michigan game, like you can watch any of these games, and it's gonna be some BS in there because it was the times when like we'd be blowing them out and they'd just do some bull crap so they can get the game to get like close.
Yeah, the
So
refs have been terrible, man. We got to figure out a way
that's just the way it is. You got to just take it out of their hands.
We got to figure out a way to hold them guys accountable too, man.
You can't.
They affect, man. You can fine them. You could take some money out their pocket. I bet they won't keep on missing calls after that.
But they won't do that. They want to act like these are the best of the best refs.
Hey, they do it in the NBA. The report drop after the game. I think if you miss
this amateur sports stuff
and a certain number of impactful calls, I think you should be fined as a crew. You know what I mean? 20,000. I don't know what they make. 20,000 sounds like a good start off number though. And if your crew keep on missing calls throughout the year, it should raise.
So
Ain't doing that.
when y'all just got me thinking of so many different things. If you going into the game this weekend, you're Buckeyes. You know it's all on the line. Are you so locked in? Because this week, I know we spoke about last week not looking forward to Michigan. The way y'all played, I think y'all was putting the foot in them boys like y'all was ready for Michigan. I think y'all started to look for Michigan in that second, third quarter.
We was playing to get ready for them. Yeah,
that's what I seen. So
hey, the team up north. Their fans, for some odd reason, they felt awesome after their win at Northwestern. They said, we finally saw our team play good. That's the team we was looking to see. They blew Northwestern out. We ready for Ohio State. I like that.
And I didn't get to pick with Parlay Poe a little bit about that because I started to send him a message and say, Parlay Poe, I see y'all trying to put up them points. What y'all?
Parlay Poe know he's supposed to be on here.
Like
him and Big Ron supposed to be on here.
So, I was looking at that and I said, I said, it's going to be a banger next weekend. I said, they both trying to put up 50 on Northwestern to make a statement. So, I'm just anticipating this weekend. Can't wait. And the playoffs haven't came out. I was going to try to stay on, a little longer. If y'all want to jump.
Yeah, they're coming out at 8.
If y'all want to jump on, a little bit after they come out, just let me know. I'm always down for that. Outside of that, I just can't wait to the playoff picture. WTP Sports Dudes, he should be possibly landing here already, if not getting his luggage off the plane and getting himself situated. And just big ups to WTP Sports Dudes for always keeping us together and doing what we do. City League TV, ask somebody else, man, the many hats, somebody else podcast. The whole 9 is going to be coming to you. So when I say make sure you stay locked in to everything you see us doing, stay locked in. This is only the beginning of what we have coming. And then we got our man, the Zen Master, FanDuel, Isaiah. He knows his sports. He knows his bets. And what the man we talking about that's not in here is Parlay Poe. I don't know if he getting himself ready, City League TV, for that big game Saturday.
He getting ready.
Or if he ain't want to step in, but we respectively know that Parlay Poe would be in here. But I think it's this OSU Michigan week. So
that's all right. We'll come back. We'll come back sometime Friday evening and make sure we can get some of them boys from up north in here. So we can really have a back and forth. It can't be just me and the Zen Master in here doing our Buckeye talk. We need some of them boys from up north to come in and talk some of their smack too.
I definitely got some good questions for y'all too. And then if you can, make sure you tune in to WTP Sports News tomorrow. We'll be doing a double dip, one at 10 in the morning and one at 2 p.m. So if you can, make sure you do lock in and tune in to that as well. Other than that, man, with that being said, got the FanDuel. Make sure you stay locked in with him. Got City League TV. Make sure you stay locked in with us. And I'm Level Up Sports 10. And you know what we do when we get up out of here. We hit y'all with that good old sign. And it's always peace, love, and hair grease coming from more way.
We out, baby. One D out.
Yeah, one love, for sure.
Peace out, fellas. Love y'all, man.
Love you too.
It's on.